Welcome to the Fighting Talk podcast, FT UK podcast. This is episode 1, and today I'm talking to American bare-knuckle fighter Quentin the Hero Henry. He used to be an MMA fighter, he's made his way into the world of bare-knuckle boxing, and he has become very, very popular in America with the fans. Very come-forward fighter. He has been in some brutal battles, which you can see if you're in the United Kingdom. Go to the Bare-knuckle Fighting Championship YouTube page. You can't actually subscribe to the app yet in the United Kingdom, and if you're interested, you can follow me and Quentin Hero Henry on Insta. To watch Quentin Hero Henry's next fight, it's really easy. Unfortunately, obviously not in the UK, but for Americans, go to any app store, type in Bare-knuckle Fighting Championship, go to that place, sign up, download the app. It's as easy as that. You can watch the up and coming show on January the 29th with the welterweight main event, and you can watch loads of other stuff and that on there as well. Also, if you're in the UK, go to the YouTube channel and you can see everything on there. So now we're going to go to the interview. Literally, Quentin's just finished training, so I'm literally catching him while he's at the gym. Obviously, it's been a long training session for him, and he's spent nearly 35 minutes talking to me, so I'm really glad he did that, and I really hope everyone likes the interview. He's a really interesting guy, and to be honest, he's a really exciting fighter to watch. So you've seen how you get the app, you've seen everything if you're in the UK, but go over to their YouTube channel and have a look. It's brilliant, I promise. Thank you for watching. Hello, welcome to episode 1, and I'm joined by bare-knuckle fighter Quentin the Hero Henry. How you doing, Quentin?
Pretty good, bro. Just got done with a training session. Feeling great.
I know you're busy at the moment because it's about 2.5 weeks to your fight with on the 29th.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've been training pretty hard. I got 18 days left. So, my weight's on point. I'm like 4 pounds out, and just pushing it and training right now. So just another day of office.
As a bare-knuckle fighter, so when you're sparring with other people, you're obviously using gloves when you're sparring. You're not going or are you sparring bare-knuckle as well?
No, I spar with gloves on. Sometimes I'll spar with partners. My partners will have on a glove and a headgear, and I'll be bare-knuckle. Right. And kind of like simulated sparring. But no, we don't go full contact bare-knuckle.
So basically, before you have your first bare-knuckle fight, the first time you actually go bare-knuckle is when you go into the fight, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the only time. I mean, you can't really just practice punching people in the face bare-knuckle.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's quite a tough thing, because the first time you actually experience it is when you're actually fighting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can simulate as far as, because I only wear boxing gloves when I spar. The rest of the time, if I'm hitting mitts, sticks, or whatever else, heavy bag, I'm never wearing them. So, for me, really, it feels weird to wear boxing gloves almost. But, yeah, man, it's one of those things that you kind of got to get used to. But if you're a smart fighter, you change the way you spar based on the fact that you're fighting bare knuckle, and the fact that you have gloves on shouldn't change. There's a lot of punches in gloved boxing that you can fight or throw that you can get away with that you can't get away with in bare knuckle. Exactly. Hitting somebody on top of the head, for example. That's one's going to break your hand every time if they're stepping into it, or if you hook wrong and maybe you catch them on the top of the head, instead of on the side where you're supposed to be. You got to have the wherewithal when you're sparring to know in a real bare knuckle fight that'd break my hand. State, and you got to correct it. And so there's a lot of thinking involved with it, I guess, but no more than anything else. It's just you can't treat it like boxing. It's not boxing.
What made you go because you was doing MMA before that, weren't you? You was an MMA fighter before pre-bare knuckle.
Right. Yeah, I was a pro in MMA for, I don't know, 12 years, I guess. When I was 18, I went pro. I think I had my first bare knuckle fight. I was 29 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, MMA was great and all, but it just never kind of panned out for me. I had a good record. I had some good fights. It's just it lost its appeal to me over the years, and I guess you could say I kind of just got burnt out dealing with it, and more so the politics and all that involved, and then the dirty side of the business just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth with all of it. But I'd actually retired from MMA. I was just running my gym because I was having a bunch of nagging injuries and stuff, and they Bare-knuckle just called me up because they had somebody fall out of a fight, so they called me on like a 3-week notice and asked if I'd take the fight. And I was like, yeah, man, sure. And I'd been pretty much retired for 8 months at that point. And I needed some money. So, and I've always been pretty good at fist fighting. So, I went in there and threw down. And then after that, man, it was just kind of, it was exciting to me. It was an addiction to it. It's one thing I always used to, when I was fighting, is that, I know there's people out there who beat me in an MMA fight and there's this fight, and that's just my thing, and it was just an exciting, it's a new sport. There's so much more to explore with it. There's so much that hasn't been done yet. It just kind of took off from there.
Would you say that bare-knuckle fight reignited your love for fighting again?
Yeah, no doubt. It's just, when you reach a certain age in MMA, if you haven't made it, you're probably not going to. It doesn't matter what you're doing, especially if, I never came from one of those big power gyms. All the training I've had my whole life has come from my dad. We started off like that. We've been a home gym, small town gym this whole time. And I've always been going out competing against people from wherever, American Top Team, these guys that train, all over the world. And I've always held my own with them. So that's what I take a lot of pride in this. And bare-knuckle is one of those things. None of these people are learning it. Nobody's doing anything different. But I've been bare-knuckling fist fight people my whole fucking life. So I'm all that's my shit. So it definitely got me excited again. I was at the right time in my life as far as 29, 30. That's my prime. I'm 32 now, and I just feel I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel better mentally, and this is where I need to be. And I think the sport came along at the perfect time for me to own it.
Of course, with MMA, when you get to a certain level, you get a good salary or whatever, you can afford to live. But when you're sort of a pro at the lower end of the level, it's hard not to have to work. And some of these fighters, they could train every day of their lives, can't they? I mean,
oh yeah, I did. I was that guy, working 2 or 3 jobs, training every day. The pay, it ain't exactly, I still got a job and shit. I'm not one of the people cashing checks, like running around rich, but that is a big part of it. And I have a family and I own a house and stuff like that, so on top of that, I only have so much time allotted for training and fighting. And when you got fighters that have you hustling tickets for them so that they can give you $200, it ain't worth your time, really.
You're doing it for the love of the sport, really, right now, isn't it? Quentin, where did you grow up? Where was you born? Where did you grow up? And when did you first start fighting? What was it, like karate, boxing, or what did you first get into?
I grew up in West Monroe, Louisiana, over here in the States, the boot, as we call it. And we, I grew up, I started doing taekwondo when I was 4 with my dad, doing boxing and stuff when he was in the Navy. So, I mean, he always boxed with us at the house when we were kids. And that was just kind of what we did as a family, was work out. And, even my mom did taekwondo with us. And then, I started doing boxing when I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. And then, we just kind of did everything.
Fourth in England, obviously, we have like year 10. So 4th or 5th grade, what age would that be?
I guess 4th grade would put me about 8 years old.
8 years old. So you started boxing when you was 8, yeah?
8 years old, I think, is when I started. So, it was. So it's just what I did my whole life. My dad did Jeet Kune Do growing up. And then he had his own little gym that he opened up when I was like 15, and teaching Jeet Kune Do. And really, we were just teaching the art of fighting. It was fighting without rules, you know, it was just survival, you know, like Krav Maga or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the way Jeet Kune Do rolls. So then MMA kind of got popular, and one of our guys kind of popped in there, and so we kind of just switched our training to get him ready for that, and we were pretty good at it, and we just kind of took off from there, you know, and shit, here I am, what, 12 years later? Yeah, no, 16 years later. I was 16 when I started. I'm 32 now. Yeah, so 16 years later, and I'm finally making a living doing it.
One of the things I've noticed about with some of your fights, when you get hit really hard, I don't know if it wakes something up inside of you, but you get hit hard. Then when you get hit hard, you seem to like something in you changes, and you seem to like become this, I don't know, like almost like the devil comes out of you when you get hit hard. Do you think that's right, what I say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I don't think helps me all the time. It's something that I try not to do because I'm a much better fighter when I'm a little, you know, kept calm. But, you know, sometimes you get clipped and it just gets your hamster going, man. You just get excited, and it's like, this is real now. You know what I mean? And it's either fight or flight. You're either going to run or you're going to fight. And when you got that adrenaline, you're going hard. You know,
how was Jason Fish? Because that looked like quite a tough fight. Because you two both took some big shots from each other, didn't you? Jason, on the Jason Fish fight.
Just fight ever had.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, he never really hit me one time. He got like one shot that landed, but it kind of half-ass landed because I caught him. I was just reaching out on it, so it kind of just grazed. But
yeah.
But no, that's the best I've ever had. I was calm. I was composed. You know, I hit him in the face, and I got excited after that. But that's okay. You know, like
yeah.
you know, I had.
I think that's
all good. Then it's time to beat out.
I think that's what really compels like you to people, is when you're in that position. And I don't know, sometimes it seems like you're on the back foot, and then this guy just explodes, and it's amazing to watch. I said BKFC's in quite still early days, like, you know, UFC's really well established, but I think you're going to go, when the BKFC is like 20 years down the line, I think you'll be one of them ones that one of them fighters that people always remember. You know what I mean? Like the early days of the UFC fighters, you know?
Yeah, that's my, you know, I'd be honored to be one of those people. You know, I tell people in interviews all the time, you know, Bare-knuckle's so new that, you know, whether I am or am not, you know, the Randy Couture of Bare-knuckle or the Chuck Liddell or the Matt Hughes, these guys who are like the staples of the sport, I'm out here fighting with them. You know what I mean? Like I'm training with, I'm seeing these guys at events. I'm getting on the same cards with them. So, I mean, that in itself, to be a part of the history, and that is exciting, you know. And you know, my goal is to just be the best that I can, and I try to do it the right way in the sport. I know there's a whole lot of temptation to go the YouTube route and start, you know, trying to be an influencer and just get all the followers with you know, ridiculous shenanigans.
Yeah.
You know, but my goal at the end of the day, you know, years now, I'd like people to say, you know, that dude was about it. And not only was he about it, he was about it the right way. He wasn't just, you know, looking for things he didn't deserve. He scratched and clawed, and he took it.
How are you, like, do you know, like when you go to the show or anything, I bet you must get a lot of fans coming up wanting pictures and stuff with you, because the BKFC events, they always look packed out. They always look sold out.
Yeah, they usually do have a pretty good crowd. Yeah, I have a decent amount of people come up to me and ask for pictures. I think a lot of people are intimidated by me just because of how I look. So I think there's a lot of people like they want to get a picture, you know, but they're kind of scared to ask or whatever. And I'll be like, hey, you want to take a picture? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, come on, shit, come take a picture. Take all of them. You know?
Yeah,
come on, I'm not scared. I just look scary, you know. I'm not that scary in real life. I'm super.
If you type your name in Google, the first 30 pictures are of when you're looking really crazy, like when you've just won a fight and you're like, whoa.
No, man, I know. Hey, but when my daughter's boyfriends look at we're ready.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, because I see a photo of you on Instagram at Christmas with your kids. How old are your kids? They're quite young, aren't they?
I have a 10-year-old daughter from my first marriage. And then I have a 5-year-old who'll be 5 in a couple days, Tomcat, and then Mason Man. That's my youngest one. He's 2.5.
All right. Okay. So is it quite hard to balance both training, working, and family life? It must be.
Man, yeah. I mean, all that trying to balance it is difficult, but the kid, I get to spend time with my family. There are, especially when I go to full-time fighting, I'm constantly training, I'm constantly running my gym, that kind of stuff. And when I get to come home. Well, what happened? Did we lose video?
Sorry, my internet was going, so I put the video off to try and save on the signal. Can you still hear me? Yeah.
I can.
Oh, brilliant. Let's go there. I can hear you much better now. You all right with that?
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, balancing that, the kids just make it worth it, man, because you got to find something that's an escape to get away from constantly thinking about training and all that, So, yeah, I mean, it's just as difficult as anyone else, but, difficulty means that it's not worth it. Difficult, I'll just call it part of the plan.
So do you have to do like anything relaxing, like fishing or any hobbies you do to wind down or go walking or anything like that? Because you live in quite a rural, it's not really a country sort of area you live, is it? What we'd call it in England?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess you would say we're pretty rural. We have like a city, but it's pretty spread out, and then everybody goes hunting and fishing. Actually where I live is in Louisiana, is called the Sportsman's Paradise. So, we can hunt or fish or do something like that pretty much year round. And I don't do as much as I'd like to. I really just spend too much time fighting and to go do anything like that. I'm one of those people, if I'm going to do it, I got to have the time to do it. I got to have the time to do it right. And if I don't have that time, I'm just not going to. So, and at this point in my life, it's more important to put that time into fighting. And so, yeah, I just fight every day. That's my goal. It's my train. My mindset is to get better than yesterday. I gotta do at least something. Because that's my job. It's not like it's a hobby, that people look at. I decided I'm going to do this for a living. This is how I'm going to take care of my family. And if it's not an obsession to you like that, you won't make it. You just won't. There's too many other people out there that want to take it from you for you to be having too many other hobbies. Maybe other people can do that, but I'm not going to. It's not worth it. I can fish every day when I'm retired. I can sleep every day when I'm retired. I can go deer hunting. I can go fucking skiing if I want to. It doesn't matter. But I can only do this right now. And that's what's important to me at the moment.
How are your hands? Because obviously bare knuckle, it must do a bit of damage to the hands. Will that shorten your fighting career, like because of the hands, or your hands fairly like okay? Because you see a lot of bare knuckle fighters with really hurting breaking their knuckles and fingers breaking. Have you had any problems with your hands or anything like that?
Man, not really. I grew up. My dad's a brick mason, so I grew up laying brick my whole life. I got tough hands from that, and my entire time I've been training, I never wrapped my hands. Never. I've never used hand wraps. The only time I've ever wrapped my hands are when I was getting ready for fights, and that was MMA, boxing, didn't matter. The only time I was going to wrap it was when I was getting ready, or when I went in there to fight. So, in my mind, I was making my hands tougher. I was strengthening those muscles in my hands and my forearms that the hand wraps, support. And really, it's just a crutch. So when I went into bare knuckle, it really wasn't that big of a difference for me. I was like, damn, I've been wanting to do this my whole life. So it's the last fight was probably the worst on my hands. Granted, I landed a lot of big shots on him. And I probably should have taken a couple of them more to the body right there at the end. But, I spent about a month with my hands hurting pretty bad. And, but nothing was broken. I've never broken my hands in any of these fights. And I just contribute that to good hand conditioning, but, there's a lot of people that are like, when they go into bare knuckle, they're saying, oh, well, you can't hit as hard as you want to because you don't have the hands wrapped. And you don't feel definitely. Like, I don't have a fucking problem with that at all. I'm giving you every inch of dick I got in every one of these punches, and my hands are going to make it through. And I know that, and I've got that confidence in them, so, that's where, this sport's a little different, cause you can be the best boxer in the world, but you got little baby hands. You're not doing this with me.
No, well, see, I mean, how do you feel about like your kids watching it? Because basically, my son's 11, and I showed him one of your fights the other day, and I had no problem showing him a bare knuckle fight at all. I mean, he watches UFC and stuff, but some people were like, "Oh, you can't show a kid a bare knuckle fight," and I'll be like, "Why? Why? It's a sport. It's actual sport now. It's not like." They're not in a back garden having a straightener. This is a proper sport.
Hey, but is it okay to let them watch people shooting each other on TV?
Well, exactly. So you pretty much feel the same as me about that, yeah?
This is two grown, even if it wasn't a sanctioned fight, this is two grown men handling a altercation in a non-lethal way. Definitely. What's wrong with that? And there were two guys in there who are trying to make ourselves the best version of ourselves possible. You know what I mean? It's nothing to do with violence. The people that say that they're fighters because they love violence don't go anywhere, and they're full of shit. The good martial artists are only worried about improving themselves. And that's what the sport is about. And the only reason we compete is to prove to ourselves what we can do. But even if there were no competitions, I'd still be boxing. I'd still be training. I'd still be fighting. If that's the only reason you're doing this shit, then you're never gonna make it anywhere.
Do you watch like boxing and UFC or any other sports, or do you just focus on like BKB now? I mean, are you aware of like, obviously Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, I keep up with the big fights, but I really don't. I don't watch much of anything out when I'm not training. I focus on what I'm doing. I keep up like Vasil Lomachenko and Tyson Fury and some of that drama and all that stuff going on between those guys, but I hardly watch UFC fights anymore. I won't ever buy another one. I know that. It's fucking crazy. $75 for a damn pay-per-view.
In England, they're $19.99.
That's half the time.
$19.99 that we pay.
£19.99.
£19.99. So I think that's about $23 or something like that. That's crazy, the prices you put. Apparently, the Floyd Mayweather.
Fuck, they're charging $75 over here.
What? So per household to watch it, yeah?
Wow. Yeah, to order the fights at $75.
Like, because Bkfc is only available on the app, isn't it? That's to watch on the app.
Right, and sometimes it's on Fight TV, I believe, but yeah, the BKTV app is what they prefer to use.
How, like, out of all the promotions you've been on, how do you find Bkfc? Are they the most professional? Because everything they do in film seems so good,
Man, I mean, I've dealt with every rodeo clown promoter you've ever thought of, but they do what they can. They're working pretty good, and the sea that they're navigating through is full of icebergs. So it's, they do pretty well. They try and do their best by me so far. It's just been so hard for anybody to do anything the past year or two because of the corona. I'd like to see us have a good year where we're just clear and kind of see where we can take it from there, not having to fight all those obstacles.
How many states in America currently sanction the BKB? Do you know? Is off the top of your head?
So it's Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas, Wyoming, and I think New Mexico and New York.
Okay, so what's the nearest?
I believe are so about 7 or 8.
So do you have to
Louisiana is supposed to. Mississippi is the closest to me. So like my fight, I live about 2 hours away from the next fight.
So you can drive to Mississippi, yeah, or you fly.
Mississippi. Yeah, I just drive over there on the interstate. Be pretty quick.
A lot of people in America fly, don't they, to travel to various places? Because we're only a tiny country in England, so you can pretty much drive anywhere within 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I know, if it's more than, I drive a lot of times. I drove to Colorado the other day. It was 15 hours.
Wow.
So, Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of people that drive. There's a lot of people that fly. It just depends, But over here, a 4 to 10 hour drive, that's something you're going to drive. Anything over, you might start looking at flying.
So your next fight on the 29th, do you have where's that? That's in is it Jacksonville? The 29th fight.
It's just Jackson,
Jackson, yeah?
Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi. So that's the
Right.
one you're talking about. So that's 2 hours away from where you are, yeah?
Yeah, I'm 2 hours. I'm 2 hours west of that.
So do you travel up on the 29th, or do you go up a couple of days before the fight?
I'll probably just drive back and forth and sleep at home. I'll probably drive for weigh-ins. Yeah. I'd rather just sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, I know what you think. I think when you get past a certain age, isn't it, your bed is like as good, nice as hotels are. Sometimes you just don't. It's not. You just can't sleep in them, can you?
Yeah, it's not my bed. It ain't the same.
So just for example, if Deontay Wilder was to go over to Bare-knuckle, how do you think he would fare with his knockout punch, or Tyson Fury? Do you think they would struggle in Bare-knuckle? Because Bare-knuckle is a lot different to boxing. I mean, your style as well. Your style's kind of like, I don't know if you know a boxer called Carl Froch from England, but he's very much like you. His hands are quite almost like down, almost tempting an opponent to hit you, waiting to throw your jab and stuff. And you bring that jab upwards, don't you? Your jab you throw is fast, and you can go through the middle, round the side. You almost taunt opponents in by having your hands quite low down. I'm right in saying that, ain't I?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, usually at that point they've quit engaging, and it's like, come on, let's go. You can get me? Here it is. That type of deal to kind of see where they're at. Sometimes you have to get a guy to come at you to be able to hit them, especially if they're just running from you.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. I think that's what you're a forward fighter. Like, you're basically inviting them to fight. You're not going in defensive or anything. You can see actually you just want to fight.
Right. I'm trying to get in the pocket and throw hands. That's what I want to happen. Not running around dodging.
How's your eye after that Chris Lieben fight? Because your eye looked really bad after that fight. Is it all back to normal now?
Yeah, it seems to be. The eye poke, I got 2 stitches in my eyelid, in the corner of my eyelid, and I had some nerve damage for that for a little bit. And it was nothing traumatic, but it was just like I could feel this tingle that kind of ran down my face or whatever. But that's all good now. Whether either it got better or I don't notice it anymore. But
does that easily happen in bare-knuckle? Because you see it a lot in MMA with their hands sort of open. But if it happens in bare-knuckle, is it more on purpose, or do you think it's just accident?
The punch to the eye. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was ill intent with it, to necessarily put my eye out. I was aggravated at the fact that the referee had already said break 2 times, and he had said it a 3rd time, and then he poked me in the eye. But I think he was trying to hit me. It's just the angle that he hit me with, his thumb, got me or whatever. But I do have 2 stitches in my eyelid on my eyeball, so I do have proof that it happened. So,
yeah, no, I'm like, honestly, I watched it, and you could see how bad your eye was. You could see it weren't right. Like even a little poke in the eye, it's horrible. So a full blown finger in the eye, it must be horrendous.
Yeah, it's more of a scary situation, and it would have been better if I just couldn't see it all out of that one eye instead of blurry.
Yeah.
So it was like one eye just blurry as fuck, and it couldn't focus, and then the other one was focused. So it was kind of just throwing a lot of shit off.
Yeah, well, like they say, when one of your eyes goes, it knocks you off balance as well. Same with your hearing. If you lose your hearing in one ear,
I mean, like the punch that he dropped me with at the end, I saw it coming. I just didn't realize it was going to hit me. Like, I thought it was going to miss. I didn't realize it was right there. You know what I mean? Like, but depth perception and all that kind of off, and a lot of it had to do with I was just too geeked up for that. I wasn't controlling myself like I should have been.
Does your wife come to your fights?
Oh yeah,
she comes. Yeah, so did you drive home that night with the bad eye when you left that night back home?
No, I that one was in Tampa. So Tampa is about 16 hours away from 16 hours from where I live.
That's Florida, right? Tampa, Florida, yeah.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida, and that's so I spent I stayed the night at the hotel that night. That wasn't a drive.
No, that would have been a bit of a bad drive, wouldn't it? With one eye, trying to drive home with one eye and one eye blurry.
No, we rode home the next day, but it was a good 14 hours laid up in the back seat.
So, just a couple of last things. I know you're a busy man and you've probably got to get off, but what do you know about your opponent for on the 29th? What if you win this fight? What's your plans for the year?
I know a lot about Chris. I would say I've known him for quite some time. We were supposed to fight each other at one time. There was some talk about it, before the corona hit and all that. And, we get along pretty well. Last time I was in Miami at some fights, it was, me and him were walking around downtown Miami. We went and picked up beer together, so my door's not shut. So, I know him pretty well. I know his training pretty well. I've watched all his fights, because we're friends and stuff. So, I'm excited about it. He's a big, strong guy. He likes to come forward. And, hopefully after this one, I plan on going there. I get the win after this. And I'm looking for a title.
How many fights do you think you are away from a title? Because there is they have got a heavyweight champion, have they, of the BKFC? I looked through their roster and it didn't actually say if they had a champion on there or not.
Yeah, the current champ is Arnold Adams,
right?
But I'm a cruiserweight, so I'm at 205.
Right, because a couple of your fights have been heavyweights, haven't they?
My first one was, but this, like the last fight, that guy was a heavyweight and he came down to fight me. And like Sorrow, this next guy is a heavyweight and he's coming down to 205 to fight. Okay, because I think I've seen two of your fights and it had heavyweight. It did say heavyweight on there, but you're a cruiserweight. So who's the target? Who's the like? How many fights away do you reckon you are from like a title shot at cruiserweight? This one, I win this fight, I'm getting a title shot. That's what I feel like I'm entitled to. Two fights, two impressive victories over two game opponents. But I'm not picky. I want, Hector Lombard has the belt, so that's who I want to fight. I don't know if he's going to defend it or if he's going to vacate or what it is, but we'll belt either that or I want a super fight of some kind, like Jake Paul. That'd be good.
No, mate.
Or Anderson Silva,
mate. Anderson Silva. I think you'd be too much for Jake Paul. Anderson Silva would be brilliant.
No, not bare knuckle. Not bare knuckle with Anderson Silva. I want to do like a regular boxing match. Like,
yeah, he's good, isn't he? Though, did you see his fights? He's quite good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Anderson Silva. Hell yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he could do any fighting stuff.
I know. That would be a bucket list thing for me to be able to, to do that. That would be awesome. I've been for years, ever since I've seen him come around, I've always thought that's the best striker on the planet. And I don't care what striking sport you put him in, he is the best striker on the planet because of his natural abilities. They apply in every aspect.
Have you ever met him? Have you ever met Anderson?
He just has things that other people don't. And no, I haven't. I would like to.
Well, do you know, he fought in England. Oh God, it was long. It was quite a while before the UFC against a guy called Lee Murray. Lee Murray later went on to fight in the UFC, but he become the biggest bank robber in it. Well, not a bank robber. He robbed the security depot and they robbed £54 million from it. I don't know if you know about that story.
Yeah. I do.
Brilliant story. I think he was tough, man. Yeah. Anderson was tough. I mean, I know I know Michael Bisping beat him in that fight, but I think that was more of a give for Bisping because, you know, that knee dropped him, didn't it? And then Bisping come back unbelievably.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
Anderson's been into. I would love to see you and Anderson Silva in a boxing fight. I would pay 19.99 for that. What we pay over in England, it'd be brilliant. Quentin, thank you very much for talking to me. I know you're really busy and you're only a couple of weeks out from your fight, but thank you.
Hey, no problem, brother. I appreciate it.
Will you will I be able to get you on? I'm gonna obviously sort the video out and get it up the next few days. But would I be able to chat to you again maybe a couple of weeks after your next fight, if that's all right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much. I'm gonna when I get the video done, I'll send it over to you. Am I allowed to use some of the photos and stuff from your Instagram to put on there? I want to try and do some photos and stuff on there of you, if that's all right.
I got you. I appreciate it, man.
No worries. Quentin, look after yourself, mate. I'll be watching on the 29th. I wish you all the luck in the world, and we'll speak to you in mid-February, if that's all right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Good luck, mate. Thank you. See you later, buddy.